Okay, here is where I make the template I was talking about. This is just some, I wouldn't call it cardboard. It's not like shipping box cardboard. It's about, I'm gonna measure here. It's about 21 thousandths thick. A little bit heavier works good. And actually I got something here that's a little bit heavier. What is it? It's 39. You know, it's not thick cardboard, although it would work, but it's just real good sturdy stuff, and it's not paper. And these, I use these quite a bit. Like this is for a 3.5 inch tube. This was turbo exhaust from the engine into a twin turbo setup, you know, one for each side. 3.5 inch tube on a 3.5 inch center line. This one I use a lot. It's a 4 inch tube on a 4 inch center line. I use it quite a bit. This is like turbo discharge into throttle body type of stuff, or, you know, blower type of deal. But I make these templates and I keep them. I hang them up on the wall and I can reuse them. But on this, I've already drawn out, you know, it's a 90 degree. It shows, you know, just 2 inches across because this is a 2 inch tube. I went ahead and drew this out. You know, it's 2 inches wide, 2 inches, and drew the line through where the 45 degree is going to be right here. So if you imagine that, like laying here, the 45, that's the middle. And I buy these in 90s. You can get them, I get this from Wolf Aircraft. You can get them in different radiuses. I like for header stuff like this, I like the tight radius on a header tube, with usually you got some pretty tight spaces to work with. So you can get them in different radiuses. You kind of get it how you like, but I like the tight stuff, and I make a template for this. So you can get them in 180s, different, but I always just work with a 90. And so the 45 across here is you know, half the tube there and there. So I'll use these blocks, and I'm going to set it up against the edge of this line on the top, and that will hold. I'll push the tube against that on both sides. So it's up against there and up against there, and it's the, you know, it's the 2 inch shape around there. And I'm going to kind of freehand this pencil just on the outside edge. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a reference, because it's just a template, but I'll try to make it decent. And run around here and connect the other side. That was pretty good. And do the same on the inside. This middle portion on this template I'm making is gonna get cut out, and you'll see. And also, like, because this is going to be the top template when you put a piece underneath. Actually, what this is going to do when I cut this out, after I mark the lines, this will lay on top of a piece underneath, and this will let you draw out a paper doll template of a piece of tubing, and that paper will have the lines on. You'll see in a little bit, but what I'll do is make some lines. I'll put a couple lines on here, a couple spots. Let me sharpen my pencil. The spacing doesn't really matter. Just, you know, pick a spacing that you think you can work with. I'll just put a few marks on here, and then I'll speed this up. So these are 1/8 inch apart. There, and there. And I'll finish it out over here and finish it out over there. And then they'll all get connected lines each spot. And I'm gonna run down here to that spot right there. And you'll see. I'm gonna speed this up and get through this. Okay, I got those. Got my glasses on so I can see. I got those lines. Now, the spacing here doesn't matter. Just pick something that you like. Make it nice and even. You don't have to draw all the way through. This 45 I drew through just for kind of a reference, but it's a pretty important mark to have because that's the that's the midway through that bend at the 45. But these are 1/8 inch spacing. I'm gonna cut this chunk out, and you'll see why in a little bit. I'm also gonna cut a little windows out here on both of those because that's where you draw the leg on the bottom side. I'll show you. There, that discarded. Now go down here somewhere and just cut a little window, and you'll see why. Cut a little chunk out because you need to make a mark on the. Go that away. These are going to be leg marks. Because you're making a template of this tube. I'll show you in just a second. There's probably a computer program somewhere that can spit this all out and print it out. If there is, I don't know where it's at. That's why I do this the hard way, but it works. Let me get a piece of paper. So, no, that won't work. So now that I got, this is the top template. This is the tubing you're working with, and there's reference lines to cut. So I'll go like this. I'll mark. This is just reference. It's all going to connect. Just making paper templates to eyeball with, to hold up against the flange, the header flange, or hold up against another piece of tubing. But while this is on here, this top one, this is a good template you just made. Don't ruin it, don't kill it, don't damage it, because that's what you use to transfer. You want to transfer lines, like I'll transfer the 45 because it's pretty important. And then let's just say you're gonna work with just this part of the tube, and it's gonna be somewhere 45 to here. And you can just take one of these and mark off. Just you line up the lines on the top template, and whoop, I missed that. And your tangent down here, line it up with your line at the top, and you're just drawing reference lines on that paper template that you can run. I'll just skip some of these just for purpose of this. So there's that. Take the template off. Take a straight edge. finished drawing your tubing, because you've got a piece of tubing here now. It's gonna look like tubing here in a second. There. Now you got a copy of this. So let's quickly cut this out. Discard that. I'm gonna do this kind of crudely just for the sake of the video. And I can't see very good without my glasses on, so that's my excuse. Chop it there. It takes a little time to do this, but it gives a real good visual when you're working in the engine bay with tubes. And a lot of times, finish cutting this out, I'll cut my fingers off. A lot of times when I make these marks with the template, I'll make all the marks, because sometimes you'll make a cut, you'll guesstimate, and then it's wrong. You can just grab another piece. So where you're working at, like if you thought, yeah, it needs to be 45, let's see if it'll fit. You can cut across that 45 line there. Now you got this tube. It's on a 45. And you can hold it up somewhere where it could be and eyeball it. This might go out to another piece of tubing. This piece of tubing might be here. You have to fill in this piece. This gives you an eyeball. Oh, the angle's wrong. You got your lines on there. You just make a little cut and hold it and adjust it and make it work. This has worked for me for a really long time. Now I've got a 2-inch OD on a 2-inch centerline template that I can keep reusing, and I'll hang on the wall with the rest of the stuff. You got your template here. You got to transfer it to your tube. So I use these 246 blocks. Put it on that line there that you drew out of the leg, and shove your tube up there like this. Now that tube fits real nice on top of your template there. And then you take, you go like this. Since we know that line there was the start of the bend here where it goes, that's this line here. So you take this, you move that block up to that line across there, and then take your template, line up your line to the edge there. And you mark it across there. There's where your cut needs to be to match this leg of that template. And you can, if you're a good freehander, you can go all the way down there, come all the way down here. Hand grinder, cut off deal, put it in your saw, whatever. And whatever your leg needs to be, just adjust it from there. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty easy. I've done this a long time and it works really good. It's a good visual. It works great. All right, thanks for watching.